Just in time for Christmas, the trailer for the Disney Plus Marvel series Loki has finally arrived. Hold on to your helmet horns and melt into the multiverse as we break down some of the small details you might have missed. After a recap of Loki stealing the Tesseract in Avengers Endgame and a scene of him waking up in a desert, we see the mischievous anti-hero on an elevator with a lot of weird buttons descending a huge building. We then see multiple shots inside this building, which seems to be some kind of cosmic governmental headquarters, filled with strange statues, signs, and vaguely threatening-looking people. This would appear to be the headquarters of the TVA, and we aren't talking about the Tennessee Valley Authority. In this case, TVA stands for the Time Variance Authority, an organization that first appeared in 1986's Thor issue 372. They've popped up a few times in the intervening years, and their mission is to maintain the integrity of the timeline and prosecute those who threaten to screw with it. They've tangled with time-traveling villains like Kang the Conqueror, who has himself been rumored to be coming to the MCU soon. They're basically a bureaucratic force of time police. In the Authority's first appearance, one of the TVA's agents was chasing an immortal demonic bad guy named Zaniac back through time to stop him from causing massive chaos in the future. Could Zaniac have something to do with the weird stained glass demon we see later in the trailer? Or could that be some other devilish Marvel villain like Mephisto? Standing in the elevator next to Loki is none other than Owen Wilson, playing a mysterious character whose name is never mentioned. But if you hit the closed caption button, it reveals his character name without any guesswork: Mobius M. Mobius.
How long have you been here? I don't know, it's hard to say. Time passes differently here in the TVA.
It's a safe bet that most fans of comics, both old and new, have probably never heard of this obscure character, who first appeared in Fantastic Four issue 353 in 1991. Mr. Mobius is in charge of prosecuting the Fantastic Four for their time-traveling shenanigans. That tracks with what we see in the trailer. There's a high-tech-looking film strip that seems to be evidence against Loki. Then Mobius sitting at a table with Loki, who's clearly being held prisoner by the TVA. Mr. Mobius seems to be taking Loki to task for his crimes against time, and possibly putting him to work to set some things right. Three very ominous-looking figures loom large in the offices of the TVA. First, they show up as three giant heads, hanging behind Gugu Umbataro, who's playing an as-yet unnamed character. We see them again as three gigantic statues. Who are they? As ever, the pages of Marvel Comics hold the most probable answer. These are most likely the Timekeepers, characters whose origins are tied to the Time Variance Authority. Their story is very, very complicated, and involves multiple timelines, imperfect past versions of themselves called the Time Twisters, and a guy named Zarko the Tomorrow Man. Whether we'll see or hear more of them, or just see the statues in the background, is unknown at this point. In a blink and you'll miss it moment, a group of TVA agents, along with Loki, march into a big box store called Roxcart. That name bears a striking similarity to one of the many fictional corporations that have shown up in Marvel Comics over the years, Roxxon Energy Corporation. If you've played through 2020's Spider-Man Miles Morales video game, you're already familiar with Roxxon and its nefarious corporate misdeeds. Roxxon has been in the MCU from the start, with their logo appearing on a building during the climactic fight in Iron Man. The President even says their name in Iron Man 3.
This is the Roxxon Norco.
Roxxon has also been a key part of several MCU TV shows, and the logo is on a gas pump in the Marvel one-shot short film A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to Thor's Hammer. It's not entirely clear what larger role Roxcart might even play in the overall show, but considering how evil the corporation tends to be in the comics and games, don't be surprised if we hear from this evil conglomerate throughout Loki and beyond. The trailer ends with a classic Loki smile and quip, flanked by what appears to be a group of battle-worn warriors from various historical periods. The trickster god opens his arms, smiles, and says,
"Come on. What did you expect?"
Loki's not-so-merry band of fighters then immediately turn their weapons on him. A telling detail is that Loki and a few of the warriors behind him are wearing red, white, and blue buttons that say Loki for President. The buttons appear to be a callback to the 2016 comic book series Vote Loki, which finds the Norse god launching a controversial campaign for President of the United States. Vote Loki is a satire of the actual 2016 US presidential election, and features fictional ex-Daily Bugle reporter Nisa Contreras working to expose his web of lies. So does Loki actually change history in the show? There's some evidence. At one point we see Loki inside a massive plane, except he really doesn't look like Loki. He gives the flight attendant a wink, grabs a bag from her, then jumps out of the plane, cash fluttering in the wind behind him as he appears to zap to Asgard via the Bifrost. This seems to be the god of mischief masquerading as Dan D.B. Cooper, the pseudonym of a still unidentified man who hijacked a Seattle-bound plane on November 24, 1971. The man, who wore black sunglasses, a black suit, and a black tie, just like Loki in the trailer, told a flight attendant that he had a bomb, then managed to extort nearly $1.3 million in ransom. He parachuted out of the plane and was never seen again.